Here is a strange thing about you. You can be sharp, capable, ready, and then the moment arrives, the room you wanted, the person you wanted to impress, and something inside you quietly steps back. Confidence isn't a feeling you wait for, it's a lock, and 5 quiet habits keep yours jammed shut. 5 locks, 5 keys. Let's open them.
You hand your confidence to other people and then wonder why it keeps disappearing.
A good comment, a like, a nod from someone you respect, and you stand a little taller. Then a cold reply, a silence, a raised eyebrow, and you shrink. Your sense of worth is on a string, and everyone around you is holding the other end. When your confidence depends on applause, you will always go small at the worst moment, because the worst moments are exactly the ones where applause is not guaranteed. Nathaniel Branden makes a sharp distinction. Self-esteem you chase through other people's approval is not real self-esteem. He calls the dependence on outside validation a fragile substitute for the real thing. So catch yourself reaching for the scoreboard, the reply, the number, the look on someone's face. Name one judgment you are outsourcing, and make it yourself instead. Did I show up honestly here? You answer that, not the room. Lock 1. Open. You believe being hard on yourself keeps you sharp. It doesn't. It keeps you scared. There is a voice that shows up right before the important moment. It lists everything that could go wrong, it reminds you of the last time you stumbled, and it calls this honesty. You think tearing yourself down is what high performers do. But look at what that voice actually creates. Not focus. Fear. And a brain bracing for an attack does not perform. It hides. Kristen Ness spent her career on this. Her work argues that self-compassion, treating yourself the way you would treat a good friend, is a stronger and more stable foundation than self-esteem built on always being above average. So when that critic speaks before something that matters, ask one question. Would I say this to someone I love who's about to walk in there? If the answer is no, you don't get to say it to yourself either. That is not going soft. It steadies the hand. Lock 2. Open. You protect yourself so well that no one ever meets the real you. And then you wonder why you feel like a fraud. You only speak when you are sure. You only share the finished thing. You never raise your hand unless the answer is certain. Never say I don't know. Never let anyone see you reach for something and miss. It looks like competence. It feels like safety. But here is the cost. The armor that hides your weakness also hides you. People connect with what is real, and there is nothing real to connect to. So you stand in the room, fully protected, and completely alone. Brené Brown spent years studying this. Her core finding is that vulnerability is not weakness. It is the willingness to show up and be seen when you cannot control the outcome, and it is the birthplace of courage and connection. So take off one piece of armor. Say the honest sentence you usually swallow. I'm not sure, but here's my best thinking. One real sentence, spoken in a moment you would normally hide. That is the arena. You don't need to win it. You need to enter it. Lock 3. Open. You think your way out of confidence. You call it preparing. It is really stalling. You replay the conversation before it happens. You rehearse every way it could go wrong. You wait until you feel ready, certain, calm, and that feeling never quite arrives. So the moment passes, and you stayed silent again. But all that turning the thought over does not build confidence. It drains it. The longer you sit in your head, the bigger the threat grows, and the smaller you feel walking in. Gaddy Kay and Claire Shipman land on something clean. Confidence is closely tied to action. It is built by taking the risk and acting before you feel ready, and it erodes when you loop endlessly over the same worry instead of moving. So set a limit. When you catch the loop spinning, give yourself a short window to decide. Then take the smallest real action inside it. Send the message. Ask the question. Raise the hand. Because acting before ready is how the feeling actually gets built. Lock 4. Open. You live by a script you never wrote, and you call it being responsible. You make the safe choice, the expected choice, the one that keeps everyone comfortable. You go quiet about what you actually want. You measure yourself against everyone else's version of a good life and keep coming up short. It feels mature, sensible, grown up. But a life run on autopilot slowly hollows out your confidence, because confidence needs to be exercised by your own choices. When you never choose for yourself, you never get the proof that your judgment can be trusted. Return to Nathaniel Branden, because two of his pillars are the practice of living consciously, staying awake to your own life, and the practice of living authentically, where your actions match what you actually value and believe. So find one place where you are following a script that is not yours, and make one small choice that is. Say the real opinion at dinner. Spend an hour on the thing that is yours alone. That is a deposit in a self-respect you can actually feel. Lock 5. Open. 5 locks. 5 keys. Here is the combination. 1. The validation trap. Stop outsourcing the scoreboard. You judge whether you showed up honestly, not the room. 2. The self-critic trap. Talk to yourself the way you would talk to someone you love. 3. The armor trap. Take off one piece. Say the honest sentence you usually hide, and step into the arena. 4. The overthinking trap. Set a limit. Then act before you feel ready, because action builds the confidence, not the other way around. 5. The borrowed life trap. Make one conscious, authentic choice that is yours, and earn your own respect. You do not get confidence and then act. You act, honestly, on your own side, and confidence is what is left behind. The vault was never locked from the outside. The combination was always yours. Master your mind.
Here's how it works. Every milestone we hit unlocks something free, from the discipline system to all 5 vaults. So subscribe, give this a like, and share it with someone who needs it. Find everything at Learning from AI.